Hey everyone, welcome back to our Making Sense of Revelation Bible study. Today we're going to really wrestle through chapter 5 of the book of Revelation. I remember after my first marriage, it ended in divorce, and I felt like I was unworthy for a really long time. I felt like because I was a divorced person that I was a failure in just every way. When I met my husband Ryan at church, we became friends, and I liked him. This is after my divorce, and I liked him, and I kind of wanted it to be something more. But I looked at this guy Ryan, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way. This guy is too good for me. I mean, I at that point had kids and an ex-husband and stretch marks and baggage from my first marriage and all of it. And I looked at Ryan and I thought, there's no way that this grounded Christian 27-year-old firefighter would ever want to date me, would ever want to date a single mom who's lucky if her clothes are not on inside out every single day. I felt like I was so unworthy of his attention, of his affection. Do you ever feel like you're not worthy? Like sometimes we suffer from imposter syndrome or inadequacy or things like that. I think, yeah, we all feel like we are unworthy from time to time. We look at somebody and we think that they're pretty cool, but then we think, I cannot possibly be friends with that person because I'll never measure up to that person. Or we look at somebody else's house and family and kids and we think, oh, my house, family, and kids will never be as awesome as theirs. And we wonder why we don't feel like we measure up. Author Lynn Twist, in her book, The Soul of Money, she writes it like this. She writes, for me and for many of us, our first waking thought of the day is, I didn't get enough sleep. And then the next one is, I don't have enough time. Whether true or not, the thought of being not enough occurs to us even before we think to question or examine it. We spend most of our hours of our days hustling, hearing, explaining, or complaining, or worrying that we don't have enough of. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough exercise. We don't have enough work. We don't have enough profits. We don't have enough power. We don't have enough wilderness. We don't have enough weekends. And of course, we don't ever have enough money. We're not thin enough. We're not smart enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not fit enough, educated, successful, rich enough ever. Before we even sit up in bed in the morning, we are already lacking something. And by the time we go to bed at night, our minds race with the litany of the things that we didn't get done that day. And we go to sleep burdened by those thoughts. And then again, we wake up again to the reverie of lack. I think she speaks some truth in the fact that we all feel like we lack. We all feel like we're not enough. We all feel like we are unworthy in our lives. And this has a lot to do with chapter 5 of Revelation. This is the problem. There's this scroll in this chapter 5 of Revelation, and then there's an angel proclaiming and holding the scroll saying, who is worthy to open the scroll? And there's this great mourning and grief across because there's no one who is able to open it. The animals try, the creatures try, people tried. No one can open the scroll in the book of Revelation. Until finally, the Lion of Judah, the Lamb, the Root of David, all of these referring to how we know it of Jesus, is able to come and open the scroll. See, here's the power in this vision. Friends, no one can do it except for Jesus. And that's the point of all this crazy language in chapter 5. Jesus is the only one who can open the scroll. Jesus is the only one who can save. Jesus is the only one that makes us enough. And when we realize that with our whole being, isn't that freeing? That we don't have to be it all because Jesus already is it all. When we realize that we're not drowning in the sea of lack, but instead we've been given a life savior, see what I got there, that is already enough. Jesus is already enough. And through Jesus, we are already enough, just as we are right here, right now, not in this reverie of lack, not in this unworthiness that the world throws us, but we are enough right here and right now. And so when we get this in chapter 5, it is easy to see that the vision that John shares with us, how could we and John, he not get super excited about reading about this? But then when the creatures, they realize that Jesus is worthy enough to open the scroll, they can't help but worship him. And they proclaim boldly and broadly in verse 12, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise." And then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea and all that is into them saying, "To him who sits on the throne, to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever." Now, I don't know about you, but when I read Revelation chapter 5, I can't help but thinking, me too, to worship the God who is worthy enough, who takes care of freeing me from all of those feelings of being unworthy, so that my worth is found in Jesus Christ. And so is yours too. Isn't that amazing? So here's my question for you today. Number one, where in your life do you feel like you are unworthy? Where in your life do you feel like you are not enough? And number two, in reading Revelation chapter 5, what's your response to Jesus freeing you from all of that? Jesus is the only one who is worthy to open the scroll. So therefore, Jesus is the one who is worthy to worship. Have a great day. We'll see you when we get to chapter 6.